Coming up today on This Is True Really News.
Stuff and such?
It by that much.
I suppose Buck Henry knew that would become like legendary.
No, he had no idea. Had no idea. Please like, subscribe.
By the way, Buck Henry, Google him. Go ahead. No, really, it's worth it.
Yeah, it is. Go watch Get Smart. Please like, subscribe, and follow.
The TV show, not the movie.
Yeah, please like, subscribe, and follow This Is True Really News, because we want more listeners and viewers.
Yeah. We're looking for those retirement homes in Foley.
And we're closer. We're almost to $70.
It'd be more of a Verco compound, if you will, where we could all move and live happily off the land.
As long as we went to somebody else's house.
And as long as, there was Amazon and we could order food out. And, yeah. Where was I now? Oh, yeah.
You're doing your first
Sheila.
story. Yeah.
No, then I'm doing my first.
Okay.
Boy, let's not mess up the order of things, dude. I'm happy she's here. Let's not tick her off.
This is True, Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
I don't know how you... So anyway, getting a divorce is ugly business.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets even uglier when one of the partners has no idea it's happening.
Wow, that comes as a bit of a surprise.
I would think a little shock to the system.
Yeah.
This was the bizarre situation a judge in British Columbia, Canada, faced a year ago, and he bought it. Judge Dennis Horry annulled the marriage of Warren and Gina Zant in 2021. But at the time of the proceedings, Gina Zant had been replaced by an anonymous imposter. The reason we're hearing about it now is the judge caught on. He said, I was unable to determine on the basis of evidence before me who actually appeared at the annulment applications representing herself as Gina Elizabeth Zant. However, I am satisfied that whoever attended by telephone on that date was an imposter. As a result, Horry has annulled his annulment decision. Yeah, it gets confusing. Warren and Gina are once again legally married.
It was disannulled.
It was re-annulled.
Oh.
Re-annulled? Re-annulled. Anyway, Warren and Gina are once again legally married, which I'm guessing they're not real giddy about either. The events leading to the theft of Gina Zant's identity began in 1999. Warren and Gina Zant got married in the tropical Cook Islands in the Pacific Ocean. Did you know that New Zealand is the southernmost of the tropical islands?
That is the most amazing thing I have ever heard. I have never heard that before.
And speaking of that, my favorite New Zealander is now the number one golfer once again in women's golf.
Yay!
Way to go, Lydia. It was very funny. She had tears in her eyes because she won this. And it wasn't so much for the fact she was just putting $2 million in her checking account, which she was.
Yeah.
The big thing for her was she was a force of nature as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's all of 25 now. But when she was 15, 16, 17, she was the number one golfer in the world, won tournaments like they were going out of style, and then hit a stretch where she did not play Lydia-like golf. She played like normal professional golf.
Like a human being.
Yeah.
Instead of a god.
She made some changes because she figured she needed more distance to remain competitive.
Okay.
And unlike Tiger, it took her a little longer to assimilate the new swing things.
Okay.
But this year, I think she's won 3 times, including the CME biggie at the end.
Wow.
And she had tears because now she knew she was now the golfer, right? She was the Rolex Golfer of the Year. She won the Vera Trophy, which is for the lowest scoring average all year.
Wow.
Which means you're consistent. And it was the biggest, and she wins the $2 million, the CME Globe, the race they all go for when they start, because only 60 golfers make it at the end. Yep. And her fiance was there.
Oh, how nice.
So she had, there was a cutest picture, tears started to flow right away, and friends came and hugged her, and that was nice. And then her caddy hugged her, and the tears got a little heavier. And then her husband hugged her, and I thought she was going to pop his head off when she was hugging him. It was very...
He's at least bleeding from the eyes.
She did mention, of course, that, well, this will be the last tournament I play in as a single lady, so it was kind of nice to win for him.
There we go.
Where was I now? Oh! How the hell did we get to New Zealand? Cook Islands, Pacific Ocean. That's it. Anyway, two decades later, after the Zants got hitched, wow, was that Lydia? That might be the biggest detour we ever took. Under the And we've taken some detours, kid.
I'm going to have to think about that.
Under the agreement, Gina Zant would receive survivor benefits under Warren Zant's operating engineer's pension plan. So if Warren croaked, Gina gets the pension.
Right.
Anything confusing here?
Yes.
It seems that something happened that made Warren regret this arrangement, so he set up a bizarre plot to kick Gina off the pension plan. He approached the courts in British Columbia seeking an annulment, not a divorce, because that might still give Gina some rights to his estate. And he didn't want that. He wanted a clean slate, like nothing ever happened. The case got assigned to Judge Horry. In support of his annulment application, Zant produced an impressive collection of docs. Among others, Warren presented an email allegedly written by Cook Island official saying this marriage is fraud and totally annulled. It does not exist under the Pacific Island nation's law. I would really wonder about... Anyway, the documents he produced had been before an official. They bore the approval of one Enrique Alejandro Alonso Serrato.
Were they written on Dukes of Hazzard stationery?
Hello Kitty stationery.
Oh, thank you.
Supposedly, at least I moved this up to the 21st century. Supposedly a commissioner. Here we go. His title is apparently Commissioner for Taking Affidavits for the Canadian Embassy in Chetumal, Mexico. And then finally, Mr. Zant handed over a document bearing a supposed signature of Gina that consented to the annulment. I was fully aware that our marriage in the Cook Islands was not legally binding, said that document. So faced with the pile of evidence, Horry annulled the Zant's marriage on November 24th of 2021. It wasn't long afterwards, Warren called the operating engineer's pension plan to get removal of Gina's survivor benefits. When the plan contacted the real Gina Zant, everybody got very confused for a moment.
Hell, I'm confused, and you're explaining the story.
She was shocked to hear about the annulment of her marriage. She claimed she had no idea. None, zero, zilch, nada. Together with the pension plan, Zant started, well, now, of course, he's an attorney, became a judge. They're going to snoop. So he started snooping. And all of the evidence Warren had given Judge Horry was, in fact, fraudulent.
Oh, so it was on Hello Kitty stationery.
I'm guessing. Well, probably more likely Dukes of Hazzard because it's just more manly. After contacting Cook Island authorities, Gina was told that they had never declared her and Warren's marriage void. The island's senior registry manager for birth, deaths, and marriages emailed Gina saying that all the documents that Warren had shown were, quote, fraud documents which did not come from me. Additionally, Mr. Serrato from Mexico does not appear on any Canadian government list of lawyers or notaries. Oh, yeah. The Canadian Embassy said they do not employ any Mr. Serrato or even have an official in Chetumal. So what part of this could be a problem? Judge Horry held a phone interview with Warren Zant and someone who claimed to be Gina. Canadian courts started accepting phone interviews because of the pandemic. The end of the world as we know it. And
right now in Canada, if you've ever seen a picture of a gun, you can't even go see a judge face to face.
No, because you could
go off at any time.
You're obviously unstable.
Yes.
It soon became very clear whoever was talking to the judge was not Mrs. Mrs. Zant. Oh, the Van Zants will sue me. No, they're not like mouse ears. With the new evidence, Judge Horry walked back on his earlier decision. He canceled the annulment, meaning Gina is still, yes, eligible for benefits from Warren's pension plan. And now I'm suspecting he's got a few people who would like to actually kill him.
She's annulled.
We're still trying to figure out what exactly the end game was. And Judge Horry doesn't quite understand it either. He says Warren's claims about his mental health were based on unreliable evidence from witnesses without any credibility. And if Warren was mentally incompetent, then he wouldn't have been able to apply for the annulment in the first place. So now the operating engineer's pension plan, they're going to recover all their legal costs from Warren. Oh,
boy, that kind of bit him.
I'm thinking that worked out well. I'm thinking Firefly right there. Sorry.
Exactly. That went well. So let's do missed it by that much, shall we?
Sitting in a wasteland on a boulder, stark naked. How could that have went well? Well, we pulled off the heist. A good day.
Population will inevitably and completely outstrip whatever small increases of food supplies we make. Paul Ehrlich confidently declared in the April 1970 issue of Mademoiselle. Now, this was the first year of Earth Day, and that's what it was there for.
Yep.
The death rate will increase until at least 100 to 200 million people per year will be starving to death during the next 10 years. That would be by 1980. Most of the people are going to die in the
They obviously never heard of Thanos.
Right. Most of
That's going to fix things for 5 years. It'll be okay.
Most of the people who are going to die in the greatest cataclysm in the history of man have already been born, wrote Paul Ehrlich in a 1969 essay titled Eco-Catastrophe. By 1975, some experts feel that food shortages will have escalated to the present level of world hunger and starvation into famines of unbelievable proportions. Yeah, that's right. They're looking back at it from 2022, almost 2023. It is unbelievable. Other experts, more...
Well, actually, if you want to state that correctly, it's still unbelievable.
Other experts, more optimistic, think the ultimate food population collision will not occur until the decade of the 1980s, which it didn't. Ehrlich sketched out his almost...
Crap, I was afraid I missed it.
His most alarmist scenario...
I should be thinner, shouldn't I?
For the 1970 Earth Day issue of The Progressive, assuring readers that between 1980 and 1989, some 4 billion people, including 65 million Americans, would perish in the Great Die-Off. Well, thank goodness I wasn't one of them.
I would like to mention at this time, follow the science. It's never motivated by greed and grants
or stupidity
or sensationalism.
See, the science I'm happy to follow. It's the scientists I don't trust.
Well, yeah, but see, they're presenting you the science that is probably... Remember when science, back when it was born, it was to see if we could find out how God did all these great things?
Yeah.
And then Darwin showed up and suddenly more and more people figured, no, it must have been an accident. And everything went kittywampus from there.
Well, we're having fun at least.
The Bay... Are we? Hang on.
I'm waiting peacefully.
The Bay County Sheriff's Department has declared it's officially out of the bonfire business. Actually, I didn't know the Bay County, Florida Sheriff's Department was ever actually in the bonfire business, so this is kind of a surprise.
Well, I'm glad they told somebody.
There was an incident at A. Crawford Mosley High School in Lynn Haven in October. According to the Panama City News Herald, the agency has assisted with bonfires for many years. The 2022 homecoming event blew up when the bonfire literally exploded. We're talking, this was not fanciful language. It went boom. No one was injured. The firefighters were already on hand as a precaution. Duh.
Thank you.
Sheriff Tommy Ford said it was unclear what caused the explosion, but his agency would take responsibility for that incident. I suspect it's a group of rogue students, but what do I know? The district also announced they would no longer be hosting bonfire events. Oh, rats. You know, it's harder and you can't smoke in this country. Now you can't be a pyromaniac. And come on.
You can't blow crap up on school grounds.
Hell. Pretty soon, it'll be like, I don't know, they're going to confine us to our homes for 2 weeks.
To bring down
the curve of explosions.
Yeah, okay. So 2 years later, we'll still be having explosions.
It's over 2 years because I still see some folks in some places stuck. I can't go out today because the government won't let me.
And the Chinese are not happy.
They are not.
No.
Just so you know, young ladies and young gentlemen of the Chinese nation, there are more of you than there are of them. Rock on, dudes.
This is from the Fired file.
Uh-oh.
I got a job at GameStop. The manager who hired me told me my first shift started at 4 p.m.
That day?
No, the next day or whenever.
Yeah.
I showed up at 3:50.
Okay.
A different manager who was working that afternoon told me I was actually scheduled for 2:30. I never even got to work.
Wow. Hired, walk in the door, fired.
Yeah.
Dude. Respect.
Janitor at a hospital cleaning bathrooms in the patients' rooms. An old lady laying in her bed called me over and said she was born in Germany and she'd learned to speak English but couldn't read it very well. She had a get well card from someone and asked me to read the poem inside. I did.
Okay.
Someone reported me because I wasn't supposed to interact with patients. Got fired before lunch.
See, now I'm not normally a litigious person, but in that case, I might have an attorney wander over and go, sit down for just a minute. Let's talk for just a second, like adults. You might not know. It's like grown-ups.
Yeah, bring your checkbook to this meeting.
It's like people who aren't children. And if you don't want to bring your checkbook to the meeting, then we're going to have to talk.
Wow. I lost my job because I lost balance of a serving tray and spilled hot soup all over the owner.
Yeah, that one's going to happen, man. That was more location than anything. Yeah.
Used to work at a factory that made food stuff. A guy I was trained with fell into a big vat of wet ingredients and that was about to be heated up. Had I not looked behind me, he would have died. The boss went to the hospital to tell him he was fired, but they were giving him some extra pay in his check.
So is that where Donna Summers got the idea for hot stuff?
Probably.
Hot stuff. Look it up. It's Google. Donna Summers hot stuff. It's no big deal.
On this guy's first day at the gas station, he put unleaded gas into a diesel truck.
How'd that work for him?
Well, he got fired.
I'll bet he did.
I work in the oil field. A new guy comes in on the night shift. I tell him to go check the giant oil tank to see how full it is. It's a tank as big as a house. He looks down inside it and uses his lighter to see better. Nobody was killed, and his job was eliminated for safety reasons.
Pretty sure this guy's time will come because
he's not
that
cleansing. He's going to cleanse the gene pool at some point.
I believe I heard it somewhere said, how does your brain even form human speech?
It's sort of like Homer dealing with that gun, staring down the barrel.
Turn out the lights.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.